Hello children, welcome to the class. Once again, I am here with the chapter number 6, I Want Something in the Cage. I hope you are keeping well and staying inside the home and doing different type of activities which are very important for you, just like reading, writing, and I hope you are completing your work also. Before going to start this chapter or paragraph number 4, I would like to share a thought with you. Time and tide wait for none. It meaning that if time passes away, it never comes back. So children, always remember, time is precious. So always do something which is beneficial for society, for yourself and for your family. So for this note, we are going to start this video. Once again, as you all know, we have completed 3 paragraphs of this story and we are going to start 4th paragraph of this story. So let's start. Before going to start last line of 3rd paragraph, I would like to remind you what we have studied yesterday. In previous two paragraphs, we have studied about the appearance of Mr. Purcell, who was the owner of pet shop. And the appearance of Mr. Purcell was written beautifully because in his appearance you can find over here that red cheeks and a tight melon stomach, and was a fussy man, always create something, and he was never satisfied for anything. So that called the fussy man. And his appearance is very stout type of the personality he was having, very big magnifying glasses he was wearing, and in that magnifying glass he was looking like a genial and wise owl. Very literally it is written over here. And when we are going through this 2 paragraphs, we have seen the appearance of Mr. Purcell and after that the atmosphere of the shop, because as you all know, it was a shop of pets, and everywhere and each and every shelf you can see different types of animals, birds, and from these shelves, from these cages, different type of voices are coming. Squills, squeaks, twittering and rustling, these type of the sounds are coming from the different type of the shelves. And that time the routine of Mr. Purcell was, first of all, he opened the shop and he used to sit on the stool after that, and he opened the paper and started reading the paper thoroughly. Whatever it is written inside the paper, the expression was always there on his face. So, in the last line of this 3rd paragraph, we are going to start now because we have revised what we have studied in 2 paragraphs. Now, he read everything, even advice to the love loan and the detailed columns of advertisement. He was going throughout the paper, what is the column, what are the articles are there, everything he read. And even, this is very humorous, that he even read that love loan columns also and advertisement, because that time you can see he did not have any work. That is why he was reading continuously that newspaper. And here the new words is lovelorn. So I am going to write the meaning of lovelorn. Lovelorn means unhappy because of the unrequited love. So, unhappy because of unrequited it means the column of full of unhappy news of love, that column he used to read. And after that, what he was reading? He was reading article also, advertisement also. Everything, whatever the news of joy or sad news or any type of the news which are not fit for him, but even he was continuously reading that paper. Now here you can see detailed columns of advertisement. It means full of advertisement. That column, even that column he used to read. Now we are moving to the fourth paragraph. It was a rough day. A strong wind blew against the high plate glass windows. That time was winter time. And the description Mr. L.E. Grieve has given over here, the description of winter time, and it was a rough day. Rough day means it was not very good day, or you can say that it was very dull day. A strong wind blew against the high plate glass windows. That time the very strong wind was blowing and smoke filmed the wintry city and air was grey with the thick frost because the breeze was very cold. That is why the smoke, or you can see the fog, that time was appeared on the film, on the glasses, just like a film. Having completed this usual task, what was his usual task? He used to sit on that high stool and he used to read the newspaper. That his usual task. Mr. Purcell again mounted the high stool and unfolded his morning paper. He adjusted his glasses and glanced at the day's headline. That day, because it is a different description of the another day, so we are moving that day. That day was dull, very dry, very rough, and that day what happened? It was very cold over there, and the breeze, the cold breeze were blowing over there, and because of the cold breeze, it having a frost on the glass windows like a film. And having completing his usual work, after opening the shutter of his pet shop, he entered inside and took out his newspaper and sat on the high stool, and he was started reading newspaper thoroughly. Now here you can see he adjusted his glasses and glanced at the day's headlines. He started reading the day's headline. Chirping and squeaking and mewing vibrated all around him. Chirping, the bird sound, squeaking, the rodent sounds, and the mewing. Mewing, you can say the cat's mew and the dog's barks. That type of the sounds were there because the cats and dogs were also there in the pet shop. So the cat's mewing and chirping of birds and squeaking of the rodents all over the atmosphere. Yet Mr. Purcell heard it no more than they would have heard the monotonous ticking of the familiar clock. The clock was there at the top of the wall, and that ticking, monotonous means very, very dull, or you can say tedious, because always a ticking sound coming, and it was in the routine of Mr. Purcell. Every day he used to open the shutter, he sat on the stool, and he started reading the newspaper. That time the chirping and mewing and squealing was started, and after that he used to listen that ticking, monotonous, or you can say tedious sound of the clock always. Now I am going to write the meaning of monotonous. Monotonous means dull and tedious. So it is adjective, and here you can see the monotonous sound, the dull sound of ticking of clock was there. And we are moving. He adjusted his glass, chirping and squeaking and mewing vibrated all around him. Yet Mr. Purcell heard it no more than he would have heard the monotonous ticking of the familiar clock. Now we're just moving to the paragraph number 5. There was a bell over the door that jingled whenever the customers entered. There was a bell outside, or you can say that at the door, it was a bell hang over there and at his shop. And whenever the customer entered inside the shop, it rang. Jingled. Jingled means the sound of the bell. So it's rang whenever the customer entered. This morning, however, for the first time, Mr. Purcell could recall it failed to ring. First time in his business, he failed to hear the jingling of that bell. Simply, he glanced up, and there was the stranger standing just inside the door. Here, he has seen a stranger, the person who entered inside the store, but very silently. No jingle of bell were there. So here you can see he did not consider that person. How did he come inside? Because the bell was not jingled. So here, one, you can see over here a very suspicious thing happened. Simply he glanced up, and there was the stranger, standing just inside the door as if he had materialized out of thin air. It means he was not bothered about. He used to that cold weather, and he entered inside just like he was materialized. It means like a very tough type of the personality he was having, because there was much cold, but he was not bothered about that stranger. He entered inside the store. The storekeeper slid off his stool. Now, who was the storekeeper? Mr. Purcell. And he got down from the stool. From the first instant, he knew instinctively, unreasonably, that the man hated him. Because he was very experienced sailor, so he understood the expression of that person that he hated. Why he expressed these type of the senses? Here you can see that the man hated him, but out of habit he rubbed his hands briskly together, smiled and nodded. And he used to do his, and he just rub his hand and stand properly and spoke out. Good morning, he beamed. What can I do for you? As usual, he was a shopkeeper, so he started his business here, and he, without paying attention about the expression of that stranger, he started his dialogues and he said, good morning, what can I do for you? So here you can see the first part of the story is now going to end, and after that we are having some comprehension check. So we will do it. After that we will continue in the next part of the story. This is the first part of the story. We have seen in this story first of all the Mr. Purcell appearance and who was the owner of that pet shop. Mr. Purcell was proprietor of that shop, and the atmosphere of that pet shop, and after that the entrance, or you can say the stranger has entered inside the shop. That was a turning point in this story. Now let's start solving comprehension check. It is depend on these 5 paragraphs. It is given in your an alien handbook, supplementary reader book, and it's chapter number 5, as you all know, and we are moving to the page number 38. So just take out your page number 38 and we are going to solve comprehension check. So page number 38, comprehension check. Page number 38 in your supplementary reader book, An Alien Hand, I Want Something in the Cage, chapter 6, comprehension check. After reading the 5 paragraphs, we are going to discuss or solve these exercises which are based on previous 5 paragraphs. So let's start solving this. Write true or false against each of the following statement. There are statements are given over here and we have to write true or false. We have to choose whether it is true, we have to write true. Whether it is false, you will have to write false. So first, Mr. Purcell sold birds, cats and monkeys. It is true because inside the text you can see over here, Mr. Purcell sold cats, dogs and monkeys. It is written in your chapter 2nd paragraph. And this line you can find on page number 36, 2nd paragraph, and it is 4th line. And it is written over here. So it is correct and we are going to write over here true. First is true. What is true? Mr. Purcell sold birds, cats, dogs and monkey because he was proprietor of pet shop. Now let's move to the second number. He was very concerned about the well-being of the bird and animals in his shop. Now here you can see he even not bothered about the sounds of in his surrounding. We have already seen in that paragraph number 3, we have seen. So it is false. Second is false. Now let's move to question number 3. He was impressed by the customer who bought the 2 doves. Was he impressed? No, it is false. He was not impressed by the customer who bought the 2 doves. Now let's move to 4th. He was a successful shopkeeper, though insensitive and cold as a person. No, it is also incorrect, because he was not a very successful person. He was not a successful businessman, because many times you can see in the story, he used to sit on the stool always and reading the paper continuously, and very less customer used to come to his store. So he was not a successful person. And the second statement is also incorrect, though insensitive and cold as a person. As a person he was not cold, he was very fussy person, and here you can see insensitive, it is correct, but this 2 words or 2 phrases are not correct for the Mr. Purcell. So we are going to write over here false. So first is false, first is true, second is false, third is also false, and fourth is false. Now let's move to the question number 2. Why is Mr. Purcell compared to an owl? Why? As you all know, you have read in the story that he used to wear a very big magnifying glass, and from that you can say of wearing of that magnifying glass, he was looking like a genial and wise owl. You have seen in the chapter also. So this you have to complete in the book as well as in the copy, and we are moving to the second question. I am going to write over here. Now second question. Mr. Purcell compared to an owl because large glasses magnified his eyes, which gives him the appearance of a wise and genial owl. Genial means friendly, as we have done yesterday. Genial means friendly. Now, answer to Mr. Purcell compared to an owl because large glasses magnified his eyes which gives him the appearance of a wise and genial owl. Owl. So, the answer is Mr. Purcell compared to an owl because large glasses magnified his eyes, which give him the appearance of a wise and genial owl. This answer completed in your copy. And after completing this answer, we are just moving to the next question. Mr. Purcell compared to an owl because large glasses magnified his eyes, which give him the appearance of a wise and genial owl. Now let's move to the next question. Next question is, form the third paragraph, pick out words associated with cries of birds and words associated with noise, and third is words suggestive of confusion and teeth. So now we have to read again third paragraph because we have to complete these exercises from third paragraph. So we should go through it. From the third paragraph, pick out. Now the third paragraph, I am going to read it again. A constant stir of movement pervaded his shop, whispered twitters, sly rustling, squills, cheeps, and sudden squeaks. Small feet scampered in frantic circle, frightened, bewildered, blindly and seeking across the shelf, pulse this endless flicker of life. But the customer who came in said, "Aren't they cute?" So, these lines are very lyrical, and we have to segregate which type of the sounds was coming from birds and which sounds in this paragraph is denoting for frightened, or you can say the fear. So now we are going to write. The first question is, which words associated with cries of birds? Now, A is words associated with cries of birds. With cries of birds. Now here the words you can see in that paragraph: whispers, twitters, twittering of, chirping of, sound of birds. Now whispered, twitters, cheeps and squills. These are sounds are refers to birds or cries of birds. So we are going to write over here. Whispered, answer is whispered twitters. Cheeps, squills. These sounds are birds cry. The sound of birds cry. So these sounds, it is given in paragraph number 3. Now let's move to next question. It is word associated with noise. So now let's complete. Now second exercise. What words associated with noise we have to write over here. Noise. So answer is rustling, squills, and squeaks. Are related to the noise which are given in paragraph number 3. So these are the question. You just revise it and go through this 5 paragraph which we have read and explained. Chapter was explained, first part of the story, and tomorrow we will do some exercises which are left in this first part of the story, and next we will continue the next part of the story. So that's all for today. Revise this chapter once again, and exercise you have to complete in your copy. So till then, bye bye, take care.